So, a new detail about the DJI Pocket 4 lineup has surfaced. And while it's not the kind of news that sends shockwaves through the industry, it's definitely enough to make people pause and start connecting dots. It's not a catastrophic DJI is done scenario, and it's not a dramatic cancellation announcement either. Instead, it sits in that gray area where things are a little uncertain, a little concerning, and at the same time strangely predictable given the broader situation unfolding around DJI right now. To really understand why this Pocket 4 update matters, you can't just look at the product in isolation. You have to zoom out and look at the bigger picture, especially the ongoing DJI ban discussion in the United States, because that context shapes everything else that's happening. At the core of the issue is the FCC's decision to add DJI, along with several other foreign-made drone manufacturers, to its National Security Covered List. This list isn't new, and it isn't something that exists solely to target DJI. It's a regulatory mechanism the U.S. uses to flag companies whose communications equipment is considered a potential national security risk. Alongside DJI, companies like Auto Robotics and others have also been swept into this classification. The important thing to understand is what this actually means in practical terms, because a lot of the panic online comes from misunderstanding the scope of the decision. When a company is placed on this list, any new devices or new critical components that rely on regulated wireless communications and are manufactured outside the U.S. can no longer receive FCC equipment authorization. Without that authorization, those products cannot be legally imported, marketed, or sold in the United States going forward. This is where the alarm bells start ringing for many people, especially those who rely on DJI gear professionally. But here's the crucial detail that often gets lost in the noise. This decision is not retroactive. Existing DJI drones that already received FCC authorization before this cutoff remain completely legal. You can still own them, fly them, sell them, and use them commercially or recreationally. There is no sudden kill switch, no forced grounding, and no secret update that disables your drone overnight. If you already have a DJI drone, it does not magically turn into contraband. Inventory that's already authorized can still be sold while it lasts, which is why some people are recommending that buyers who were already on the fence might want to move sooner rather than later. For commercial operators, the advice right now is actually very practical and grounded rather than dramatic. Keep your firmware up to date while updates are readily available. Stock up on spare batteries, propellers, and other consumable parts that tend to wear out over time. Back up your flight logs and data, especially if you rely on them for compliance or insurance purposes. Document your fleet details clearly so you're not scrambling later. These are things many professionals should be doing anyway, ban or no ban. Another major misconception that needs to be addressed is the role of the FAA in all of this. The Federal Aviation Administration has not grounded DJI drones. Your Part 107 license is still valid. DJI aircraft are still recognized as legal aircraft under current regulations. There is no mass shutdown, no forced deactivation, and no sudden change to airspace rules specifically targeting DJI. Looking ahead, though, the outlook isn't exactly rosy, and this is where uncertainty starts to creep in. The key issue is future FCC approval. Any new device model released after this decision that requires FCC authorization to be sold in the U.S. could be affected. Drones are simply the most visible example because they rely heavily on radio communications, telemetry, and video transmission. However, this also raises questions about software and ecosystem support. DJI apps like DJI Fly and DJI Mimo are still available on the App Store and Google Play right now, and they continue to work. But if restrictions tighten further in the future, rolling out updates could become more complicated. That doesn't mean your device will suddenly stop functioning. It just means that over time, keeping everything fully updated and supported could become more challenging, especially for users who rely on the latest features or compatibility updates. There is, however, a silver lining that often gets overlooked in the doom and gloom narratives. Any DJI product that already had FCC approval before this decision remains fair game. That means upcoming or already authorized models that were in the pipeline prior to the cutoff are still very much in play. This is where rumors like the so-called Nevada 360 drone or other pre-approved devices continue to generate interest. They exist in a regulatory safe zone, at least for now. And this same logic is what brings us back to the Osmo Pocket 4. One of the biggest questions people have been asking is whether this ban officially affects other DJI products beyond drones. Some headlines have gone wide, claiming that the ban impacts DJI's entire lineup, including gimbals, cameras, microphones, and filmmaking accessories. But that interpretation doesn't come directly from the FCC itself. Much of it is commentary, speculation, and extrapolation about where policy could go rather than what it currently states. The FCC's primary focus is on unmanned aerial systems and critical communication components, essentially anything that operates heavily on regulated wireless spectrum. Products that don't rely on those communications in the same way, generally, don't require the same level of FCC equipment authorization. This distinction is incredibly important because it means not all DJI products are treated equally under these rules. So where does that leave the Osmo Pocket 4? This is where things get interesting. The key detail that cuts through a lot of speculation is that FCC approval for the Pocket 4 has already happened. That alone tells us something important. Its launch is not being pulled because of this decision. Whatever concerns exist around drones and future approvals, they don't apply in the same way here. Earlier discussions suggested that DJI was planning two versions of the Pocket 4 lineup, a standard Pocket 4 and a Pocket 4 Pro. The Pro model was rumored to stand out with a second camera, potentially aimed at more advanced creators who want greater flexibility or improved imaging capabilities. According to multiple sources, including leaks and industry chatter, DJI is still targeting a January launch for the standard Pocket 4. That suggests that production, distribution, and marketing plans for that model are moving forward largely unchanged. The more nuanced update comes with the Pocket 4 Pro creator reports and claims indicate that DJI has officially confirmed that the Pocket 4 Pro is still happening. But not on the originally speculated timeline. Instead of an April release, the Pro model is now expected to arrive sometime after April, placing it firmly in the late spring window. This delay doesn't necessarily mean trouble. It could be related to supply chain adjustments, internal prioritization, or simply a strategic decision to stagger releases and avoid overcrowding their own lineup. Still, the fact that the Pro model is being pushed back does raise questions. Is DJI being extra cautious in the current regulatory climate? Are they reassessing how and when to roll out higher-end products? Or is this simply normal product development reality being interpreted through the lens of a very tense geopolitical and regulatory moment? The truth is probably a mix of all three. DJI is operating under more scrutiny than ever before, and that alone is enough to slow things down, even for products that aren't directly targeted by bans or restrictions. What makes this situation particularly fascinating is how it highlights a potential shift in DJI's strategy outside of drones. For years, DJI has been synonymous with aerial photography, but its non-drone products like the Osmo Pocket, Ronin gimbals, and wireless microphones have carved out their own loyal user base. If regulatory pressure continues to mount on the drone side, it wouldn't be surprising to see DJI double down on these categories, refining and expanding products that face fewer regulatory hurdles. The Pocket 4 and Pocket 4 Pro could be early indicators of how DJI navigates this landscape, balancing innovation with caution. At the same time, it's important not to overinterpret every delay or adjustment as a sign of decline. Large tech companies frequently tweak timelines, especially when launching multiple variants of a product. A later Pro release could just as easily mean DJI wants more time to differentiate it meaningfully from the standard model, ensuring that the extra cost feels justified. It could also reflect a desire to gauge market response to the standard Pocket 4 before committing fully to the Pro version's rollout. Ultimately, this whole situation leaves us with more questions than answers, which is why it has sparked so much discussion. Is this ban the beginning of a broader shift that eventually impacts DJI's entire ecosystem? Or does it remain largely confined to drones and their associated communication systems? Does DJI pivot more aggressively into handheld cameras and creator tools? Or does it find a way to adapt its drone business to an increasingly fragmented global market? For now, all signs suggest that products like the Osmo Pocket 4 are still very much alive and moving forward, even if the timeline isn't as clean or predictable as it once seemed. And as for the Pocket 4 Pro, it's clearly still on the roadmap, just waiting a little longer in the wings while the dust continues to settle.